Hey man, stay safe world. You already know what's going on. We gotta tap in with this situation with Yfn Lucci and YSL, basically where he's being accused of snitching by multiple people, basically because of a whole hearing that his lawyer is attempting to make. We gonna get right into it, but before we get into it, I'm gonna need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and we gonna run this up. So in case you didn't know, there's been a lot of action and shit happening basically between YSL and Yfn Lucci. People have been really like zooming in on their whole beef after like Yfn Lucci. I mean, first what happened was Yfn Lucci ended up getting arrested, being directly tied to a murder that was a gang hit. His friend basically got shot, and then they threw his body outside of the car and drove away. So that's essentially what he's in jail for, because they have direct evidence leading to that. But many people are wondering, like, during this whole time, there was like a major active beef between YSL and Yfn. YSL is basically terrorizing the city, and they basically went uncalled for, like no consequences for the longest, for years and years. And then now they're recently getting cases and stuff. Many people are speculating now that the reason why YSL like particularly is getting fucking like caught up into all this is because of the situation that happened with the jail that was earlier this year, where basically Yfn Lucci got stabbed in prison. So people are kind of tying the dots together, that how did the DA was able to find evidence, I guess, of Young Thug basically saying on jail phones, or people asking for permission from Young Thug essentially on jail phones, saying like, yo, like we need to hit this guy Lucci up or whatever on the jail phones, which is dumb as fuck, asking for permission. So then his lawyer, Yfn Lucci's lawyer, actually goes out and at the same time as this files an emergency hearing to get bond. And people are basically speculating that the reason why he's doing that is because they're trying to snitch on Young Thug, basically saying that like the reason why he needs to get out of jail is because Young Thug's trying to kill him, and they basically have evidence of that. So they're actually wondering like how exactly they were able to get that evidence and what made them realize like, oh, this is tied, this Yfn Lucci stabbing is tied to Young Thug. So people are definitely speculating that the reason why is because Yfn Lucci is snitching. And there's an article basically on that shows that his lawyer reportedly files for a hearing. So this was reported by Complex 2 days ago. Yfn Lucci's lawyer has filed an emergency bond hearing with Fulton County, Atlanta, per documents obtained by the Shade Room. The motion, filed Friday and first released on Wednesday, reportedly points to YSL and Young Thug's recent racketeering, influence, and corrupt organization act charges earlier this month. It claims Lucci was a victim based on the indictment, which he's mentioned it, after he was allegedly stabbed with the shank repeatedly inside Fulton County Jail. Lucci's legal team is now requesting he be released on reasonable conditions in an emergency bond hearing, per the Shade Room, and assert that despite being named a victim in a sprawling and high-profile criminal case, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office nor any victim's advocate from their office has reached out to Mr. Bennett on his counsel. Yeah, so that's definitely, they're basically saying that Young Thug is terrorizing him, and the reason why he got stabbed in jail was Young Thug. So it's a major issue. Like if it was like a civilian situation, like in Yfn Lucci was completely innocent and not terrorizing his communities as well, I would definitely be like, okay, that makes sense. But the thing about Yfn Lucci is this man is straight up in jail for getting his homie killed and doing a driving in the drive-by after being a platinum artist, driving a car to a drive-by and getting his homie, them shooting at some other person while other people were there, and then his homie got shot, and then they ditched his homie on the ground in the middle of a neighborhood and left him to die after getting shot in the head. Bruh. So it's like he's not completely innocent either. So it kind of shows that there's no honor amongst thieves, but it's like I don't really think that you could look at that and be like, yo, like that's not right. Like it's one thing to be doing this shit. Like, yeah, if you're doing it and you're a real criminal and you're really going about the gang life and shit, then you have to kind of live by that, don't you think? You kind of, obviously, I'm not trying to be like Charleston White right here though, but it's like you gotta stand on the fact that you did that shit to get you in jail, and you know that it's true. So it's like you just gotta take your jail time. And snitching, it kind of like breaks the code between it, because it's like kind of hypocritical, because you were doing that shit too. So you're just trying to get someone else thrown in jail while you're in jail. And how is that even helping anybody's situation? Because the other person, it might be an op, but it's like the ultimate thing. They're really trying to reach for anything to get out of jail. But obviously, Young Thug isn't tied to direct murders. He's only tied indirectly for buying a car. And they're trying to say that there was 50 murders that happened, and the crime rate in Fulton County raised by 80% because of just them. But there's no direct instance of Young Thug driving a car to a fucking murder and shooting someone. So it's like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it's, I don't even know. That's just like a reach to try to get out of jail because you got stabbed, but you actually committed a full-on murder. Like, I don't know really what you're expecting. At the same time, I don't really know how Young Thug has anything to do with that. However, it's going to be interesting to see what the fuck happens. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Real say shit. You already know what's going on. Like, comment.